The massive Galactic Council ships loomed over Earth like dark storms waiting to break. Their arrival had come without warning, no signals, no attempts at communication. Just the sudden appearance of warships that made Earth's largest vessels look like toys in comparison. Admiral James Walker stood at the command center of the United Earth Defense Force headquarters, his weathered face illuminated by the glow of tactical displays. Around him, officers and analysts worked in tense silence, monitoring the alien fleet that now surrounded their planet. The first transmission from the aliens came 3 days after their arrival. The message was simple but clear: Earth was now under the protection of the Galactic Council. What the aliens really meant was that Earth was being colonized. "Your military forces are inadequate," the alien commander, who called himself High General Rex, declared through the transmission. "We have observed your species. While technologically capable of basic space travel, you lack the necessary advancement to be considered a true military power." The aliens' words sparked murmurs of anger throughout the command center. But Admiral Walker remained silent, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the enemy fleet's formation. What the aliens didn't understand was that humanity had been preparing for this moment for centuries. While their ships might have been smaller, humans had perfected the art of warfare in ways the Galactic Council couldn't imagine. "They think size determines military might," Walker muttered to his second-in-command, Colonel Thompson. "That's their first mistake." The United Earth Defense Force had developed technologies and tactics that focused on efficiency rather than scale. Their soldiers were enhanced not through genetic manipulation like many alien races, but through a combination of advanced training, specialized combat suits, and neural interfaces that allowed for unprecedented coordination on the battlefield. As the alien fleet continued their show of force, Walker initiated Protocol Omega, humanity's long-prepared response to first contact with a hostile force. Across the globe, hidden military installations began powering up. Orbital defense platforms, invisible to conventional scanners, shifted into position. And most importantly, the specially trained human response units moved into their deployment zones. The aliens had made a crucial error in judgment. They saw Earth's visible military assets and dismissed them as primitive. They never thought to look deeper, to consider that humanity's greatest strength lay not in the size of their ships or the number of their troops, but in their ability to adapt, innovate, and overcome seemingly impossible odds. Walker allowed himself a small smile as he watched the final preparations being made. The aliens would soon learn why challenging humanity was a dangerous mistake. They would learn that sometimes the smallest soldier could be the deadliest, and that underestimating humans had been the downfall of many who thought themselves superior. "Send the response to their ultimatum," Walker ordered, his voice steady and confident. "Tell them Earth respectfully declines their offer of protection." The message was sent, and the countdown to humanity's counterattack began. The aliens might have brought their massive fleet, but they were about to face something they had never encountered before, the indomitable spirit and tactical genius of human warriors who had spent generations preparing for this very moment. As the sun set over the command center, Walker knew that tomorrow would mark the beginning of a conflict that would shake the foundations of the Galactic Council's empire. They had come expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they would face the full might of humanity's specialized forces, and learn why size wasn't everything in the art of war. High General Rex's laughter echoed through the command channel as he received Earth's refusal. "These humans are either brave or foolish," he announced to his officers. "Prepare the first wave. Let's show them what real military power looks like." The alien ships descended through Earth's atmosphere like metallic mountains, their shadows darkening entire cities. Their troops were massive beings, each standing 3 times the height of an average human, wrapped in armor that could withstand conventional artillery fire. But Admiral Walker and the United Earth Defense Force were ready. As the alien dropships approached their first target, a seemingly vulnerable military base in Nevada, Walker gave the signal. "Execute Operation Ghost Protocol," he commanded, his voice calm and measured. The aliens never saw it coming. Their dropship sensors detected nothing unusual until it was too late. Suddenly, the desert floor shifted, revealing hidden launch tubes. Dozens of specialized human interceptors shot upward, their advanced propulsion systems allowing them to reach attack altitude in seconds. These weren't the crude rockets the aliens had observed during their surveillance. These were Earth's true defensive weapons, kept hidden until this moment. The interceptors, piloted by elite human crews, carried experimental quantum disruption weapons, technology that the Galactic Council hadn't even theorized was possible. Impossible! Rex roared as the first reports came in. 3 of his dropships had simply disappeared, their atomic structure scattered by weapons that shouldn't have existed on such a primitive world. But the human counterattack was just beginning. From hidden bunkers across the globe, squadrons of soldiers emerged wearing the Phantom combat suits, powered harmony of advanced neurotactical operations machinery. These suits made their wearers nearly invisible to alien sensors and enhanced their natural abilities tenfold. Colonel Thompson led the ground assault personally. His team of 40 soldiers moved like shadows through the alien landing zone, their suits allowing them to scale the massive alien vehicles as if they were playground equipment. The alien size advantage meant nothing against opponents they couldn't see or detect. Team Alpha, breach point set, Thompson reported quietly. Team Beta, status? Beta in position. Quantum charges primed. The aliens had deployed nearly 10,000 troops in their first wave, confident that their superior size and strength would guarantee victory. They never expected to face an enemy that had turned size into a disadvantage. The smaller human soldiers could move through spaces the aliens couldn't reach, exploit blind spots in their defense, and strike at critical vulnerabilities. Walker watched from the command center as the battle unfolded. The alien troops were falling into disarray, their rigid military doctrine failing them against an enemy that refused to fight conventionally. Human soldiers moved like ghosts through their ranks, disabling equipment, disrupting communications, and causing chaos in their formations. "Sir," an analyst called out, "the enemy is attempting to regroup. They're calling for reinforcements." Walker nodded. "Just as expected. Colonel Thompson, initiate Phase 2. The human soldiers activated their suits' neural interfaces, linking their minds in a tactical network that allowed for perfect coordination. What looked like random attacks to the aliens was actually a carefully choreographed dance of destruction, hurting the enemy forces exactly where the humans wanted them. High General Rex watched in growing horror as his first wave of troops fell into complete chaos. His mighty warriors, who had conquered dozens of worlds, were being systematically dismantled by an enemy they could barely detect. "This is impossible," he muttered, watching another dropship vanish under the humans' quantum weapons. They were supposed to be primitive. Their military was supposed to be inferior. But as the sun set over the battlefield, the truth was becoming clear. The aliens had gravely underestimated their opponents, and now they were paying the price. Humanity had spent centuries preparing for this moment, developing technologies and tactics specifically designed to overcome larger, stronger opponents. The first battle was drawing to a close, and the mighty Galactic Council was about to learn a harsh lesson. On the battlefield, skill, preparation, and innovation would always triumph over mere size and strength. High General Rex paced in his command chamber, his massive form casting shifting shadows in the dim light of tactical displays. The initial defeat had been humiliating, but he refused to accept that these tiny humans could truly challenge the might of the Galactic Council. "Deploy the Titan-class warships," he commanded, his voice tight with barely controlled rage. "Show these humans what happens when they defy their betters." 6 enormous vessels, each the size of a small moon, moved into attack position above Earth's major cities. These were the pride of the Galactic Council's fleet, ships that had broken the will of countless civilizations through sheer intimidation. Admiral Walker observed the massive ships with practiced calm. "Right on schedule," he noted, turning to his staff. Begin Operation Achilles. Across Earth's orbit, thousands of tiny objects suddenly activated. The aliens had dismissed them as space debris, scattered remnants of humanity's early space age. They couldn't have been more wrong. These were WASP units, weaponized autonomous space penetrators. Each one barely larger than a human hand, they had been specifically designed to target the structural weaknesses of large spacecraft. Swarm Pattern Delta, Walker ordered. Let's show them why bigger isn't always better. The wasps moved like a cloud of metallic insects, their advanced AI allowing them to adapt and respond faster than any human or alien pilot could react. They swarmed around the Titan-class warships, finding and exploiting microscopic weaknesses in their massive hull plates. This is absurd. Rex roared as damage reports flooded in. They're using toys against our mightiest vessels. But these toys were proving devastatingly effective. The wasps carried specialized boring devices that could cut through even the toughest alien alloys. Once inside, they targeted critical systems with surgical precision. Colonel Thompson, watching from Earth's surface, couldn't help but smile. "Size matters not," he quoted to his team as they observed the space battle. Isn't that from some old movie? The aliens attempted to defend their ships, but their weapons were designed to fight large-scale threats. Trying to target the tiny wasps was like trying to swat mosquitoes with a sledgehammer, wasteful and ineffective. "Sir," an alien officer reported to Rex, "we're losing power to primary systems. These devices, they're everywhere inside the ships." Walker nodded to his communications officer. "Send the message." Every screen and communication device on the alien vessels suddenly activated, displaying a simple message: "Surrender now, or we will be forced to demonstrate our full capabilities." Rex laughed, though there was a note of hysteria in it now. "You think this tricks and gadgets make you our equals? We still have enough firepower to reduce your cities to ash." "As you wish," Walker responded calmly. "Colonel Thompson, you have permission to deploy the Nightshade units." From Earth's oceans, something new emerged. Sleek black vessels, barely visible even to the naked eye, rose from the depths. These were humanity's true capital ships, hidden underwater to avoid detection. Unlike the bulky alien vessels, these ships were designed with a single principle in mind: efficiency. The Nightshade vessels moved with impossible grace, their advanced quantum drives allowing them to practically ignore the laws of physics as understood by the Galactic Council. They danced between the alien ships' clumsy attempts at retaliation, their weapons precisely targeting the damage already caused by the wasps. "Impossible," Rex whispered as he watched one of his mighty Titan-class ships split in half, its internal systems completely compromised. "We are the Galactic Council. We cannot be defeated by those you considered beneath you?" Walker finished for him through the comm channel. "That's the problem with empires, General. They tend to forget that innovation comes from necessity, not complacency." As the battle continued in orbit, it was becoming clear to everyone watching that this was more than just a military engagement, it was a fundamental clash between two philosophies of warfare. The Galactic Council had relied on brute force and intimidation, while humanity had focused on efficiency, adaptation, and intelligent design. And now, those choices were proving decisive in ways that would reshape the galaxy forever. News of the Titan-class warships' defeat spread through the Galactic Council's fleet like wildfire. For the first time in centuries, the mighty empire faced not just resistance, but humiliation. The supposedly primitive humans had turned their greatest strengths into weaknesses. High General Rex received an urgent transmission from the Council itself. The supreme leaders of the Empire appeared as towering holograms, their expressions dark with concern and anger. "You promised us an easy conquest," the Council leader growled. "Instead, you've lost our finest ships to these insects." "My lords," Rex pleaded, "give me permission to commit our full forces. We'll overwhelm them with sheer numbers. Walker and his command staff intercepted the transmission, watching the desperate exchange with interest. They still don't understand, Thompson remarked, shaking his head. They think quantity will solve their quality problem. Then let's show them another lesson, Walker replied, turning to his tactical display. All units, prepare for Operation Hydra. The aliens launched their mass attack, sending thousands of warships toward Earth. Their plan was simple: overwhelm human defenses through pure numerical superiority. Surely these clever tactics couldn't work against an armada of this size. But humanity had planned for this too. From hidden bases on Mars and Venus, automated defense platforms activated. These stations, disguised as natural formations on the planet's surfaces, housed humanity's most advanced AI warfare systems. The alien armada found itself caught in a deadly crossfire. The automated platforms launched swarms of autonomous fighters, each one piloted by an AI that could process combat decisions thousands of times faster than any organic pilot. Magnificent, isn't it? Walker commented as they watched the battle unfold. While they were building bigger ships, we were making smarter ones. The human fighters moved like a coordinated dance, predicting and countering alien movements before they even began. Each fighter was linked to a central combat AI, allowing them to function as parts of a single, vast intelligence. Rex watched in horror as his massive fleet was systematically dismantled by forces they could barely track. This cannot be happening. We are the Galactic Council. We have ruled the stars for 10,000 years. Perhaps, Walker responded through the command channel, that's precisely your problem. You stopped evolving, stopped innovating. You thought size and tradition would always be enough. The battle in space was turning into a rout. The alien ships, designed for large-scale bombardment and intimidation, couldn't effectively target the smaller, faster human vessels. Their own size made them perfect targets for the coordinated swarm attacks. But humanity wasn't finished with their surprises. From Earth's moon, hidden installations began to power up. The aliens had scanned the moon extensively, but they'd never detected these bases, built inside dimensionally shifted spaces, another technology they dismissed as impossible. You see, General Rex, Walker explained, his voice calm and almost professorial, we humans have always been fascinated by the concept of efficiency. While you built bigger, we built smarter. While you relied on brute force, we developed precision. While you stagnated, we evolved. The moon bases activated their primary weapons, gravity manipulation arrays. Suddenly, the alien fleet found their massive ships working against them, as localized gravity fields turned their size into a liability. Ships crashed into each other, their own mass becoming their undoing. This is your final chance, Walker announced to the increasingly desperate alien command. Surrender now, and we can end this without further bloodshed. Continue, and we'll be forced to demonstrate even more of humanity's hidden capabilities. The Galactic Council leaders watched in stunned silence as their mighty armada was reduced to chaos by an enemy they dismissed as primitive. Their entire understanding of military power, based on size and numbers, was being upended by human ingenuity and tactical innovation. The age of the giants was ending, and a new era of warfare was about to begin, one where the smallest soldier could change the course of history. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session as reports of their fleet's destruction continued to pour in. For the first time in their long history, the Council faced not just defeat, but complete military humiliation. Deploy the World Breaker, the Council leader commanded, his voice heavy with the weight of the decision. If we cannot have Earth, no one will. High General Rex's eyes widened at the order. The World Breaker was the Council's ultimate weapon, a massive ship capable of tearing planets apart. Its use had been outlawed by the Council's own laws for centuries, deemed too destructive even for them. But Admiral Walker and the United Earth Defense Force had anticipated even this. As the enormous World Breaker emerged from hyperspace, looking like a mechanical planet itself, Walker gave a subtle nod to his staff. "Begin Operation Phoenix," he ordered quietly. Colonel Thompson, leading a stealth team in orbit, received the command. His soldiers, still wearing their phantom suits, had already infiltrated several defeated alien vessels. "Time to show them our best trick yet," he told his team. The World Breaker began charging its main weapon, a beam capable of destabilizing a planet's core. Its energy readings were off the charts, causing electromagnetic disturbances across the solar system. "You see?" Rex broadcast triumphantly. "This is true power. No amount of clever tactics can stand against the World Breaker." Walker's response was unexpected. He laughed. "General Rex," he said, his voice carrying a hint of pity, "did you really think we wouldn't prepare for something like this? Humanity has been studying planet-killing weapons since we first looked up at the stars. We've had plans for this scenario for centuries." Suddenly, thousands of tiny points of light appeared around the World Breaker. They were nanite clusters, released by Thompson's infiltration teams. These microscopic machines were humanity's ultimate defensive weapon, designed to counter even the most powerful alien technology. "What are these?" Rex demanded as the nanites swarmed over his ultimate weapon. "More of your toys." "Not toys," Walker corrected. "Tools. Each nanite cluster contains more computing power than your entire fleet's systems combined. They're not attacking your ship, they're reprogramming it." The World Breaker's massive form shuddered as the nanites went to work, overriding its control systems and rewriting its operational protocols. The mighty weapon that had struck fear into countless civilizations was being transformed by enemies too small to see with the naked eye. "This is impossible," the council leader raged. "No species can have this level of technology. You were supposed to be primitive." "Your mistake," Walker explained calmly, "was assuming that advancement always means getting bigger. Humanity chose a different path. We went smaller, smarter, more efficient. While you built weapons to destroy worlds, we created tools to control them." The World Breaker's lights flickered, then changed color as the nanites completed their work. The massive ship, once the pride of the Galactic Council, now responded to human commands. Thompson's team began broadcasting from inside the conquered vessel. "World Breaker is secured, Admiral. All systems under our control." The council leaders watched in stunned silence as their ultimate weapon was turned against them. Not destroyed, but captured and converted by an enemy they had gravely underestimated. "Now then," Walker addressed the council directly, "shall we discuss terms of surrender? Or would you like to see what else humanity has been preparing for the last few centuries?" The message was clear. Humanity hadn't just defeated the Galactic Council's military might, they had rendered it obsolete. Their entire philosophy of warfare, based on size and brute force, had been systematically dismantled by an enemy that understood the true nature of power. As the council leaders looked at each other in growing despair, they realized that the galaxy as they knew it had changed forever. The age of the giants was over, and the era of human innovation had begun. The great halls of the Galactic Council, once a symbol of unquestioned power, now served as the venue for their surrender negotiations. The massive alien leaders found themselves seated across from human representatives who seemed tiny in comparison, yet now held all the power. Admiral Walker led the human delegation, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the tension filling the room. High General Rex stood with his fellow council members, his once proud posture now bent with the weight of defeat. "The terms are simple," Walker stated, his voice carrying easily through the vast chamber. "The Galactic Council will undergo immediate reforms. Your empire's policy of conquest ends today. You cannot simply dismantle 10,000 years of tradition," one council member protested, pounding his massive fist on the table. Walker activated a holographic display, showing the captured World Breaker now under human control. "I believe we've already demonstrated that we can. But perhaps you misunderstand, we're not here to destroy your civilization. We're here to help it evolve. Colonel Thompson, standing guard with his team in their phantom suits, couldn't help but smile at the irony. The aliens who had dismissed humans as primitive were now receiving a lesson in advancement from those same humans. Our scientists have analyzed your technology, Walker continued. Your development essentially stopped centuries ago. You focused on making everything bigger, but never better. That ends now. The human delegation presented their plan for galactic reorganization. The Council would transition from a conquering empire to a cooperative alliance, with Earth taking a leading role in technological development and military innovation. But what of our existing territories? Rex asked, his voice hollow. Our subject worlds? They will be given the choice of independence or membership in the new Galactic Alliance, Walker explained. And they'll be given access to human technology, the same technology that defeated your fleet. The announcement sent shockwaves through the council chamber. Sharing advanced technology went against everything the Empire had stood for. They had maintained power by keeping their subjects technologically inferior. You would arm our former slaves, another council member gasped. We would educate your former victims, Walker corrected firmly. The age of empire through force is over. The future belongs to those who innovate, adapt, and cooperate. As if to emphasize his point, a group of WASP units flew through the chamber, their tiny forms a reminder of how humanity's small weapons had brought down the mightiest fleet in the galaxy. Your choice is simple, Walker concluded. Join us in building a better galaxy, or face obsolescence. Humanity has no interest in conquering you, we want to help you grow beyond the need for conquest. Thompson's team reported movement in the Council's security forces, but Walker remained unconcerned. Every alien weapon in the chamber had already been quietly disabled by human nanites. The giants were no longer in control, even in their own headquarters. The universe is vast, Walker continued, his voice taking on an almost philosophical tone. There are threats out there that neither of us can face alone. Together, combining your experience with our innovation, we could create something unprecedented, a truly unified galaxy. The council members looked at each other, centuries of arrogance and tradition warring with the undeniable reality before them. Their mighty empire had been humbled not by a bigger army, but by human ingenuity and efficiency. We accept your terms, the council leader finally declared, his massive form seeming to shrink as he spoke the words. As the surrender documents were prepared, Walker looked out at the alien city through the chamber's massive windows. Humanity had won not just a military victory, but a chance to reshape galactic civilization itself. The giants had fallen, but they would rise again, not as conquerors, but as partners in a new age of exploration and innovation. 1 year after the surrender of the Galactic Council, Admiral Walker stood on the observation deck of the transformed world breaker, now renamed Unity. The massive ship, once a planet destroyer, had been converted into a mobile center for technological and cultural exchange. Colonel Thompson, recently promoted to general, joined him at the window. Below them, representatives from 100 worlds gathered in the ship's vast chambers, some giants like the former council members, others smaller even than humans. Did you ever think we'd end up here? Thompson asked, watching as human teachers demonstrated nanite technology to alien scientists. When they first appeared above Earth, I mean. Walker smiled, remembering those tense first days. We spent centuries preparing for war, but our greatest victory was winning the peace. The changes across the former empire had been dramatic. Human innovation, combined with alien experience, had already produced remarkable advances. The giants had learned that bigger wasn't always better, while humanity had gained access to technologies they'd never imagined. Report from Earth, sir, a young officer announced, approaching with a data pad. The first joint human-alien military academy is ready to open. They're requesting you as the keynote speaker. Walker nodded, reviewing the report. The Academy would teach the new doctrine of efficient warfare, not for conquest, but for defense. The former Council's military forces were being rebuilt from the ground up, emphasizing skill and innovation over size and intimidation. High General Rex, now serving as a liaison between former Council worlds and Earth, entered the observation deck. He'd changed over the past year, his once arrogant bearing replaced by thoughtful humility. The last of the old Empire's conquest fleets has been converted, Rex reported. The ships are being repurposed as exploration vessels, just as you suggested. Excellent, Walker replied. And the nanite integration program? Proceeding better than expected. It turns out when you give people tools instead of chains, they tend to use them wisely. The three leaders watched as a demonstration began in the chamber below. A team of human and alien soldiers, working in perfect coordination, showed how their different sizes and abilities could complement each other. The giant aliens provided power and reach, while the humans added precision and tactical flexibility. We've received another transmission from the Outer Rim, Thompson mentioned. More unknown signals. Something's out there, watching us. Walker nodded gravely. This had been part of humanity's urgency in reforming the galaxy. Their long-range sensors had detected evidence of threats beyond known space, threats that would require a unified galaxy to face. That's why this alliance matters more than ever, Walker said. The old Council tried to rule through fear and force. We'll face whatever's coming together, as equals. Rex looked down at his former enemies, now his teachers and allies. You could have destroyed us, you know. When you captured the World Breaker, you could have ended the Council forever. That was never our goal, Walker replied. Humanity learned long ago that true strength isn't about destruction, it's about adaptation and growth. We didn't want to replace your empire with our own. We wanted to help create something better. As if to emphasize his point, a swarm of wasps flew past the window, now being used to repair damage to the Unity's hull. The same weapons that had helped win the war were now tools of reconstruction. The Council thought size determined power, Thompson reflected. But it was never about being big or small. It was about being smart, being efficient, and most importantly, being willing to change. Walker looked out at the stars, thinking about the challenges that lay ahead. The galaxy was entering a new age, one where the measure of a civilization would not be its ability to conquer, but its capacity to innovate and cooperate. We showed them that the smallest soldier could change the course of history, Walker said. Now we'll show them that the smallest idea can change the course of the galaxy. As the Unity continued its journey through space, it carried with it the promise of a new future, one where giants and humans worked together, where technology served progress instead of power, and where the true measure of greatness lay not in size, but in the strength of unity and innovation.